Last week, I reported on Super NES MSU1 support being in unsupported builds. Now, MSU1 support is official, and you can test it out the next time you update your MiSTer. The MSU1 is a recent enhancement chip that gives the Super NES the ability to play CD quality audio and playback full motion video. So it's kind of like what a Super NES CD add-on could have been. Darren O and Attract 17 have released a beta core of Nichibutsu's Formation Armed F. Notable updates and fixes to the core are clock domains have been verified, sprite handling for the 6 MHz pixel clock and SD RAM controller, player 2 controls are no longer tied to screen flip/table mode, there's native S video output, and the keyboard handler and service menu have been implemented. You can download the beta core from the project's GitHub or from Attract 17's Patreon page. Darren O has also made updates to the Toaplan Core. Things that have been implemented or fixed are screen flip/cocktail mode, exiting the service menu no longer hangs on a sound error, clock domains are verified for outzone and Tatsujin. Also, for outzone, sprites no longer disappear when they touch the first scan line or first pixel of a scan line. Native S video support has been added, and OPO3 sound has been implemented. Games you can currently play on the core are Tatsujin, Hellfire, Zero Wing, and Outzone. You can obtain the core from the project's GitHub, or if you're using the Update All script by the Epsilon, then you can enable the unofficial downloader to have them downloaded for you. The source for the Saturn Core is available, and you can actually compile it yourself to test out the core. According to the experiences of people who've been testing the core, many games load and are playable, and the core even works with a single SD RAM chip, but there are still many bugs that need to be taken care of. Seeing how helpful the community was with the bug fixing on the PlayStation Core, I'm confident it will be just as helpful with the Saturn Core. Pierco on Twitter has made a lot of progress on the Game & Watch core. He tested his new frame buffer rendering on a real MiSTer and has the core closer to an official release. Anti-aliasing has also been added to smooth out any jaggies. He also reactivated his Patreon, so consider supporting him for the work he's providing. If you want to try out the core yourself, Pierco has provided a pre-compiled build of the core for his Patreon subscribers, but if you are not a subscriber and have the knowledge to do so, you can still compile the core on your own from his GitHub page. For the past 2 weeks, core developer Hotego has been focused on working with the Neo Geo Pocket CPU. As a result, he has finished the implementation of the CPU's instruction set. This brings us a lot closer to a Neo Geo Pocket core for the MiSTer FPGA. Hotego also teases us with a new arcade core release for next week. A clue he gives is it's an action game with no scroll. Let me know in the comments what you think it could be. For the Cave core, Dangan Feveron and Puzzle Uo Poco are now publicly available, and the cores will be downloaded the next time you update your MiSTer. Huanj, a popular bullet hell shooter, is also now public, so just update your MiSTer to obtain the core. If you want early access to the cores Null Object works on, consider supporting his Patreon. If you're interested in learning how to develop your own MiSTer FPGA core, Mr. Retrowolf has released episode 14 of his MiSTer Core development series. In this episode, you will be looking at the bullet rendering circuit of the Tank Battalion game you will be developing a core for. You then will implement that circuit in Verilog, which is a language used for FPGA development. The goal of the series is to develop a simple arcade core of the Namco arcade game Tank Battalion. You explore all the tools you will need to create the core and how to create it. A new computer core has been released. This one is for the Coleco Atom. The core is fairly complete and has disk and tape support. The CP/M operating system also works. Alan SWX did the Atom memory map conversion and some Verilator magic. Frank Bruno also helped with the Verilog conversion, bugs, and wrote the Atom netcode, which was based on the Column emulator. The Coleco Atom was a home computer and also an expansion device for the ColecoVision released in 1983. So you were able to obtain it as a standalone computer and also as an expansion module to upgrade your ColecoVision to a computer. While the lifespan of the Atom computer was short, since it was compatible with the ColecoVision, it did have a nice library of games, and there was also exclusive Atom software developed for it. Savory Snacks on the MiSTer FPGA forums is working on a Konix Multisystem core for MiSTer. The Konix Multisystem was a cancelled console for the UK. Savory Snacks had previously developed a software emulator for the Konix Multisystem using documentation and ROM examples. However, with this FPGA core, it is expected to be faithful to the original hardware because the original netlist will be ported to Verilog. And other miscellaneous MiSTer fixes and updates are: MRA coin dip switches were fixed for ASO in the SNK ZZZ80 core. Vertical blanking was slightly adjusted for Joust 2 and Turkey Shoot. Player 1 and 2 joystick swap was added to Joust 2. And the MiSTer framework was updated for Turkey Shoot, Mystic Marathon, and Joust 2. For the Arkanoid core, a lookup table was added to simulate the non-linear analog video output from the PCB's weighted resistor DAC. Overclock for 60 Hz adjusted timing was reduced to attain a 59.94 Hz vertical sync instead of 60. The MiSTer framework for the core was also updated. For the main MiSTer software, the HDMI output configuration was moved to HPS for better flexibility and future options. HDMI game mode was made optional in the MiSTer INI file. You can associate a VIC mode with the predefined video modes. Core volume controls were fixed. And like I mentioned before, MSU1 support has been officially added. So that's it for this episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure you also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer news videos in blog form and to get more retro related content. And if possible, support them on Patreon too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.